What's up? What's up?
How's it going?
Chilling, dude. Chilling. Living my best life. Ah,
I like the
folks,
grunt at the end.
you like the what?
The grunt at the end, though.
The like clear my throat so I sound like a
Living
normal
my
human being.
life.
Yeah,
Ain't
I
gonna
thought,
come
I thought you
around
just
you.
be emotional with it, like living my
Oh.
best life.
Ugh. Yeah, there we go. That's what we'll say it is. It was an emotional living my best life grunt.
Can you
What's up, everybody?
fools hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Sorry,
Geektastic
all you
Cypher,
fools. I don't know why they came out that way.
Geektastic Cypher here on franklinarmstrong.com. Hopefully you guys are tuned into franklinarmstrong.com/live and are watching us on our own page, because you can do that now. If not, if you're watching us on Facebook, I have a little bit of sad news for you guys, but as of October 21st, we will no longer be live streaming the show to Facebook. You will have to watch it exclusively on YouTube and possibly Twitch. I think we're still working out those details, but that's where we're planning to be. I'll be mentioning this a few times throughout the episode as a notice to people because I don't want them to miss out. But once again, just a reminder, guys, heavy days, heavy world, and leaving Facebook. I mean, not leaving Facebook, but
It's Facebook's fault. I blame Facebook.
we're
They're
distancing
just making
ourselves.
it too hard these days to kind of like promote and advertise ourselves. At the moment there's something that crosses their infinite list of guidelines and restrictions.
Yeah. It's basically the exact. It's basically the exact opposite. It's not you. It's me. It's the exact opposite. It's clearly you. So I'm gone.
Pretty much, and you don't get a human to talk to you when you actually message them, right? It's a bot responding to your requests because they have a series of decision trees based on your request, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of annoying, but there's always a solution. And right now, I think our solution is to move over to YouTube for the live segment, and then we can actually use the YouTube clips to promote everywhere else now versus using the Facebook filming to promote on other platforms. So I'm excited for that. This will give us a new audience as well too, I think. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of expansion and growth. We've been growing ever so slowly, but there's now the collective is having regular meetings and discussing things on a monthly basis, and there's a lot of cool things coming down the path. And I'm really excited about what's
coming in about a month from now.
Yeah.
Don't really want to get too much into it, but there's something coming.
Nope, I wasn't even touching it. I was just telling people we're gonna have some cool stuff going on. Stay tuned. Keep checking out. Follow us on IG. Follow us on all our social medias. If you're ever unsure, just go over to franklinarmstrong.com. In the meantime, all the socials are still there, and you can click on everything. If you follow us on IG or on Twitter, you might be seeing hints of things that are coming, but that's about it. That's all we'll say right now, folks. We're going to be talking about some of the hard stuff, the real stuff that the kids are here for.
What are the kids here for, Brian?
Yeah, I hear that.
Marvel's making some moves, man.
They are.
Marvel.
Do I have a link to this list, by the way, before we get started?
Yeah. So, big. First off, we're gonna preface this by stating to everyone that these are rumors. This information that we are about to discuss are rumors. There is nothing confirmed. Marvel Studios, Disney, Kevin Feige, no one at the higher up levels has discussed any of this or brought any of this up. These are just the rumors that we've seen floating around the industry. Someone was nice enough to collect all those rumors into one nice little list for us. Shout outs to the creepy bastards over at 4chan and to the thieves. The thieves over at Reddit. To the thieves at Reddit who steal it from 4chan.
Man,
we appreciate
it. Reddit and 4chan are on top of everything. The moment something comes out of 98 Info, that's crazy. It's become a pretty good source of info.
Yeah.
For a few things.
So if it's rumors, it's also potential spoilers depending if these rumors are true. So if anyone's that anal.
I'll say this. One of the big things that I've been reading is because I started doing a deep dive on this channel and this subreddit. And one of the things, if you go to the source, the 4chan source, there's someone who wrote, "Oh, hey, more rumors where only 1 out of 15 are ever accurate." So it seems like whoever has posted some of these things in the past has posted laundry lists, long, huge lists of things before, and only one thing. I think it was an Infinity War tidbit had
I
come
might
out
have
and
seen
it through.
something along those lines before. It looks
Yeah,
familiar to this writing structure too that I have in front of me.
yeah.
But
So
still fun to talk about.
of course. I mean, I'm excited. This is geek stuff. This is why we're here. This is the stuff that we like to discuss and we like to bring to people on a weekly basis. I have a lot of fun doing the show, shooting the shit and trying to figure out if any of these are factual, because
I mean, there's already one in the list that I think is completely not factual, but we'll get to that when we get to it.
Well, we don't have to do them in order. By all means, start with that, man. Hit us. What do you think is bullshit?
Unless there's another person, because I'm like, so if you're reading, so one of the list is Spider-Man. So for Spider-Man, it says subtitle is Home Invasion. I think it's a dope name because it's supposed to be about the Sinister Six, which is just, it makes sense to have that name.
Yeah.
Unless you were going to call it the Sinister Six, which would have also been a dope name, but who knows? But you have Vulture, who we already know, because they're going to obviously bring back Michael Keaton. Mysterio, they already got their Mysterio. Shocker, I believe, made an appearance in one of the.
Well, there were 2 Shockers.
There was 2 Shockers.
Yeah, the last movie, Shocker works for Vulture.
That's true. That's true.
Two different characters, the Bokeem Woodbine, and I forget who the other one was.
So you got Shocker there. You got Scorpion, who we saw there. Electro is obviously the rumored, and Jamie Foxx basically confirmed he was in talks for.
It's confirmed. He's in for sure.
It's confirmed. Yeah,
it's confirmed. That's confirmed. But then you have Kraven, and this is where I don't understand. It says Keanu is the top choice for Kraven. Keanu, who? Unless you're talking about Keanu Reeves, who the fuck are you talking about?
Well,
yeah, it is Keanu Reeves.
But isn't Keanu Reeves already going to be in Eternals? So why on earth would he be in this movie?
You know what? I don't think it's been confirmed that he's in Eternals.
Yeah,
People have been saying. So here's what happened. Keanu had a meeting with Marvel because Marvel was interested in having him jump in at some point previous. And I don't remember exactly which character it was they were interested in having him play, but they ended up going with someone else. And he's been continuously in rooms and having meetings because he's still interested in being part of the universe. So people are just throwing his name on everything. They've been throwing his name for Moon Knight. They're throwing his name for Namor. They're throwing his name for Kraven. They're everything.
This one I think is a speculation, and honestly, I don't see him playing the role. And if he can pull it off, he can pull it off.
First of all, I think
he's been rumored in Marvel since he, like Brian said, he met with the Marvel execs to talk about playing the villain or something in Eternals.
Because Keanu, first of all, I think he could easily pull off Kraven. To be quite honest with you, I don't think that's the issue. I think the issue would be like, really, Kraven for Keanu Reeves, because
I guess that's what I'm saying. I don't see it. That's when I say I don't see it. I'm not saying he can't pull it off. I'm saying I just don't see him in that role.
No, because it's a shame, because I think he would actually be a really good Kraven. He has the complete look for it, and he could, like, if Kraven had his own movie first and he could hype up the character and make the character dope, then that would be not introduced through this movie. I don't see
I actually agree with the opposite. I actually think you should show Kraven in some capacity, and something happens that pulls him away from the story, and then you follow him on that journey. But it has to be something of substance enough in this movie to make you want to actually watch a Kraven movie. Because I don't think there's an interest in a Kraven movie. Same way that Morbius movie is probably gonna bomb because there's no interest. It's just out of nowhere.
But when I mean Kraven movie, I meant like a Spider-Man Kraven movie, like not a Kraven. When I said a Kraven movie, I meant like Spider-Man, like how Homecoming was and all that, like an actual.
Yeah, but they're doing solo villain movies now, right? So like I assume that's.
No. I think completely. I thought where I miscommunicated. That's what I was trying to.
Okay. Sure. But I actually like the idea of the Sinister Six again. Like, we don't need a full-fledged just Kraven movie. I think I like this. Plus, the Sinister Six was already teased in Amazing Spider-Man 2 at the end of the post-credit scene, and now they're bringing Electro back in from that same universe, but with a different background. Like, I think we're gonna get what we're supposed to get in Amazing Spider-Man 3 in this movie.
Okay, quick question though. Are we seeing, because one of the theories is that Raimi is going to be blending universes when he gets his hands on Strange. Do you think we're going to see Jamie, because he's being brought over from the Amazing Spider-Man universe, and are we
Well, if
going to
he's
go
gonna
so
have-
far as to see the other Spider-Man?
So here's the thing.
Hmm.
I wouldn't mind that, but I don't think
Okay.
they will, because they could have done that with John Jonah Jameson as well. Right? They brought him back in from the same universe, but brought him in a different capacity. Right? And he hasn't met Spider-Man yet. So Electro will be along the same lines. They don't need the multiverse to bring people back, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay, that's true. You know what?
Yeah.
That is a good point. That is a good point. I know that a lot of people were excited about the idea of the multiverse. Seeing J. Jonah Jameson does kind of lend to the idea that the version of the universe we saw where he played Spider-Man before, J. Jonah Jameson before, and the version he's playing now kind of gives us like that standard comic book thing of like this human being in every universe looks this way, but some human beings are different. The way like the Flash did, his dad was one guy and his dad was a different guy in another universe and stuff like that.
Right.
Like Jay Garrick and
exactly.
Yeah.
Look at Batman. At some point, his dad was Batman.
Yeah.
Like it's just
Yeah. So I'm down for that. I think one of the things about Keanu and the whole Craven theory, I personally don't want. I don't want Craven as one of the major six. I know people love Craven, and I have nothing against Craven. I just find that.
You know why people
I
like
said, who loves Craven?
I think people like the look of like that. Like
yeah, I feel like
animalistic. I could see that. There's an attraction to that. That's why Conan the Barbarian is a thing. That's why Hercules is a thing. You know, like just those big imposing characters. People are attracted to that. So I can see Craven being a fan favorite if they write him well.
But the thing though is like, because they don't have a powerhouse per se in here. You know, like that's the thing that's kind of weird about this. Like for me, it's like
Rhino.
There's no Rhino, and
and Rhino was a part of it in Amazing Spider-Man too.
Yes,
like
which is what
I feel Shocker
is say the Sinister Six we start with is the Sinister Six we end with.
Ooh, please wax poetic, my friend. I want to hear more about this.
Kill Shocker and then add somebody else who's better.
Exactly. Or you bring in Rhino. Rhino probably gets killed along the way because he looks like he's just one of those characters that is disposable. You know what I mean? Like is dispensable. You can just bring Craven in at the end, like he helped the villain get away in some way, and then it's like, oh fuck, who's this guy we're gonna meet in the next one? You know what I mean? That's how you build interest in Craven. So you bring Craven in that way at the end in some like helping capacity that helps the villains get away, and he stands toe to toe with Spider-Man or something that makes him look cool. That makes people go, oh crap, what is this guy gonna do? Like, how's Spider-Man gonna beat this guy?
I really wonder what the cast of the Sinister Six was going to be for Garfield's.
When you say cast, do you mean the people or do you mean the characters?
The characters, because there's a lot you could choose from, and they didn't hint. They hinted. I know they had Rhino in their universe. They had Green Goblin because he was Green Goblin.
Electro.
They had
they had Doc Ock.
Yeah, we just
got. They showed. Oh yeah, it's true. They showed Doc Ock and they showed.
There you go.
Vulture's gear. That's true.
Yeah, at the end on the post credits, so you see who's supposed to be in it, and then you obviously Harry's part of it. And who was? And then the Gentleman was also another one that was part of it. Do you remember that? That was the character that was going through that little lab with all the equipment on the wall. The Gentleman.
I probably wouldn't have went with Shocker or Scorpion unless those people are the ones they expect to be expendable, and then bring in a real.
They've already killed one version of Shocker in the last movie.
Yeah,
I
think that dude off so quick too. I was just like, crap.
Yeah, I don't think they care. Whatever they can write characters in and write characters out. They have a plethora of characters to pick from.
The beauty thing about Shocker though, it's like he's not really. It's not so much the character as much as it is the weapon. So you could have Shocker die constantly, just be a guy, be a suit.
Yeah, but the original, but you could say that for Vulture. You could say that
actually motivation behind the one when the original Shocker dies in the first Spider-Man Homecoming, right? Was it Homecoming? Yeah. So Bokeem Woodbine's character was kind of like envious almost. This was like he finally got this prized possession. He
wanted to rise up in the ranks.
Exactly. So it'll be hard to get him off of that, but I could also see him getting too greedy in the position and messing up in some way. You know what I mean? So
definitely.
And I don't want to be a bummer.
Uh-oh.
I don't want to be a bummer.
But do it.
But I am gonna have to talk about the black elephant in the room. Can you have two black villains in a group of 6. Knowing how Hollywood is, are you gonna have Shocker and Jamie playing?
You know what?
Because you're already looking at 2 black characters with electric-based, somewhat.
Okay. This is why I also agree with Dave in the sense that like maybe Shocker shouldn't be a part of the Sinister Six.
I don't think Shocker should be a part of this. I think
not
it's
strong
weird.
enough.
Yeah, compared to Electro, Electro's like almost an Omega level mutant. Do you guys remember in the comic book? Do you remember in the comic book where he breaks everyone out of the raft? He's the one that breaks out of the raft at one point and shatters it, and all the villains escape. And it leads to this crazy story where New York gets overrun and every superhero team is out hunting villains. And some of the villains are like turning themselves in because they're just like, I don't even want trouble. I don't want my sentence extended. So
yeah, we haven't seen the full extent of someone who has the power of an Electro. We haven't seen that.
Facts.
I think if you could control electricity, the source of our power, all that, you know how much destruction and chaos and carnage you can cause. And I don't like him being a street level villain with Spider-Man. That's one of my biggest gripes.
There would be a bullet in everybody's pocket for him. You know what I mean?
Dude, Doc Ock wouldn't stand a chance against Electro.
Oops. I think one of the reasons that Electro was always a Spider-Man villain is because he doesn't have the confidence. Like the character's written as Spider-Man is the type of like a teenager can take him on because he doesn't have the confidence in himself to be a better villain. Even though if you really look at Electro and Electro really went he could go toe to toe with someone like Tony. Like a confident villain like Electro, not necessarily in intelligence, but when it comes to the sheer power of what he has, he can go up against some of the bigger characters.
Imagine him against Storm,
right? He's also written as not like the brightest person in the room.
Yeah, he's like a street thug guy. He's not super smart. He's not confident.
So it makes sense that his ambitions are just as low as well.
Yeah. I mean, is that an insult to Spider-Man though? Like Spider, like when I just thought about it, like
idiots.
Spider-Man is fighting. He does fight idiots who just happen to happen on excessive power. Those people are dangerous because they don't know how to control their power and they let their power consume them. But because he is so smart in his approach to them, it shows the power of brains over brawn. I think Spider-Man uses his brain more than his bronze, right? So it's not an insult to Spider-Man. I think it actually shows. Yeah.
I just think in the sense that like, did you guys ever read Identity Crisis for DC?
Yeah, you lent it to me.
I lent it to you, right? So in the comic book, for those of you who don't know, in the comic book, I won't give away too many details, but Dr. Light essentially gets almost lobotomized in a sense. Like they reduce his intelligence and even his ability to understand his own power, and then he starts to be an enemy for the Teen Titans. And the idea, like when he realizes what they've done and gets his full awareness back, he's just like, did they make me a plaything for their sidekicks? And he goes crazy. And it made, in that moment when we were talking about Spider-Man, I thought of like Electro being this guy that was like diminished so that Spider-Man had someone to practice with before they make it play with the big league. Throw that Electro guy at him.
You know, that's okay. See, as much as I love Spider-Man, and as he gets older, he gets more responsibility and gets to go on that Avengers level. But the way he was treated by Nick Fury and everyone is that, yes, your street level criminals are your gauntlet to see if you can make it to the Avengers. So that's why the Avengers don't show up for Spidey villains unless it's like a massive, like, you know what I mean? They don't show up for it. They let him deal with it on his own because he has to. It's like they're that small in their radar.
It was so rude though when you realize that Vulture is doing all this stuff in Homecoming and Spider-Man is actively trying to tell like, Happy, I'm telling you, there are people building tech. It's really dangerous. There's a dude, there's Prowler, there's Shocker, there's like a Thinker. Who was the other guy? The Calculate? I don't remember the other guy.
Tinker. I think Tinker. Was Tinker in this?
But Tinker is DC, no?
Not Tinker.
There's one other. There's the guy who is like adapting the tech, whoever he is. I
forget who that is now.
But you think about all these guys, and it's just like, hey, if Peter Parker, Spider-Man, who's already been invited on one mission, is telling you, I need help, something's wrong, and you guys are just outright ignoring him, it's like,
That says a lot, man.
Yeah, that's weird. That to me is a really. He's strong enough for you to bring him into battle. It is Tinker. Okay, yeah. He's strong enough for you to bring him into battle with Captain America, but not important enough for you to listen to when there's a major issue happening in the city.
Yo,
goes to show you.
They didn't even send the Avengers when they were out in Europe, bro.
Yeah,
they sent Happy with a jet to pick him up.
Happy with a jet to pick him up.
You see what I'm saying? I love Spider-Man. I identify with his stories. Actually, the reason I love him so much is because I identify with that story of just always wanted to be accepted, wanted to get in. You know, that's the whole high school thing. It just Spider-Man came at the right time and was written very well to people like us. But then the older I get, the more I see it, I'm like, well, yeah. You're only like 20, 21, maybe. You know what I mean? Like, not even, still, right? I'm 35. Like, I've seen a lot more. Trust me, the hard times, they're hard, but you get over it. It's just one of those things, right?
You get over it.
You'll get over it. You figure it out with all your stupidness and you're not understanding how the world goes. Yeah, that's great though. What before we continue on that, because we have so many things to talk about, let's jump into which one do you guys want to tackle next? You know what? We said Home Invasion. Let's go to Secret Invasion. Captain Marvel Secret Invasion is expected to be the subtitle. Jude Law is coming back. Monica Rambeau, Rhodes, Kamala, Hill, Talos, and Fury are supporting characters. Abigail Brand is to be introduced. Supposedly, Keira Knightley and Kate Winslet are being looked at for the role of Abigail Brand.
Kate Winslet over Keira Knightley for sure, because I don't see Keira Knightley doing this.
Yeah, Keira Knightley doesn't seem like the type to want to be in the MCU. She's the type of actress that I don't see. Like, she was in Star Wars, and she was only in Star Wars because she was a stand-in for Natalie Portman's character.
Yeah.
And that was the extent of her. I know she's done Pirates of the Caribbean, but
as Elizabeth Swan, it was, it's not like a lot of action either, really.
Yeah, okay, that's it.
It's more like a I don't want to say typecaster for her or anything, but she's more like a drama and/or like a historic piece. You know what I mean?
Yeah. See, here's the thing. There's nothing that motivates someone more than doubt, right? So if she really wants this, if this is true, and people don't think she can do it, she is an actress of that caliber who can pull this off. All she has to do
couldn't pull it off. She's a fine actress. I just don't see her.
I see her.
I see Marvel like sending her mail and her being like,
thanks.
She throws it in the garbage. Like, she sees the Marvel.
Okay, how quick do you guys forget? She has attempted this kind of role before.
What did she do? Which one? I'm forgetting.
Domino, guys.
What? Nah, get out of here.
Domino was a fun action movie, but I don't think
she can do this. She can do it though.
She would actually be a good Domino in the fact that Domino is Domino, but
yeah, seriously. Rewind. I'm not saying Keira Knightley is not a good actress or could not kill in any role she decides to take. I'm only saying, I don't want her in it, and I don't think she would want it. I see Keira Knightley, like Dave was saying, I see Keira Knightley getting the script and then putting it at the bottom of a pile because she's more of a, I'm looking for an Oscar. And it's just like, cool.
She's done so much of that. It's like, why not? This is the perfect platform to break out into roles like that of your own.
Yeah.
Right? If you are going to do it. So I can see it, but I don't see Kate Winslet in the role either, though.
I'm saying if I had to choose one, likelier to pick it, Kate Winslet.
I don't know, man. This is like a Emily Blunt type character to me. So if you're gonna actually like cast someone in this role for Abigail Brand, I would want someone of that caliber, like who has that experience.
You know who I want in the role of Abigail Brand, and I've already said it, and no one has taken it seriously because I think she would be the lead from the marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Hold on,
I've heard of the show. I don't know who that is.
the lead actress from the marvelous Rachel Brosnan. Let's see. Look her up. Rachel Brosnahan. I'm sure I'm butchering that name. I'm butchering that name in a way that makes everyone cringe. But she's who I want as Abigail Brand. I really think she has. Brosnahan. Is that how you pronounce it?
I would think the S you skim over it. I don't see Brosnahan.
Brosnahan? I think
So
it's
Branahan. Okay.
I think
Yeah, it could be Brosnahan or Branahan. I'm gonna choose to keep
Rachel
the
Rachel yeah. You know, you guys know what I mean.
Why? Okay, why do you think? Because I've never seen the show. I've heard the show is great. She has all these accolades, blah 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 blah. But why?
She's
her?
a solid actress. She looks the role and has the sense of humor that I feel is an undertone to Abigail that isn't like Abigail is one of these like insanely strict, serious characters, but there's always just that moment of like, I'm waiting for her to crack. And I think this actress, because she's done so much comedy, could do that flip of always being serious and then needing that moment to slip. You know, like that kind of undertone of there's a joke here that I'm just not going to react to. Because that's the thing. Keira Knightley, I've seen Keira Knightley do the like always like serious role and never smile. I want to know that my Abigail Brand has a little bit of humor. You're a mutant. You're in the X-verse.
Oh, okay. I agree with you now.
You see what I'm saying? You getting it?
No, but I just remember where else I've seen her. The Blacklist. She plays a villain on the Blacklist, and she actually plays a cynical sort of like She plays like a homewrecker. Okay, I see it. I see it. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
But she's good.
I see it.
I see it. No, she's good.
Perfect.
In the show, it's kind of like plays like that, but it's deeper than just that.
Yeah. No. But you see what I mean?
It's a great show too. It's getting even better. Have you watched it lately?
I haven't watched Blacklist in a minute. Six seasons? 6 seasons in a movie, baby. Let's do it.
Yeah, it's more than 6 seasons now.
Is it okay? But yeah, I think. Oh shit! Really? God damn. Okay, man. These TV shows. Okay, real quick. I want to remind people. I feel like we should interject it every time there's a lull point. Geektastic Cypher is going to be streaming its live broadcast right now. You're possibly watching us on Facebook. If you're watching us on Facebook, we recommend getting used to watching us on YouTube because we're going to be switching over as of October 21st. We will be streaming on YouTube. We'll put a link to the Facebook so that you guys can watch there as well, but you'll be expected to jump over to YouTube, and we're going to put the link so that you guys will know where to go and where to subscribe. Or if anything, you can always watch on franklinarmstrong.com/live. Just keep up with the website. There's going to be some changes coming, but just continue to follow our social media and you'll see it. Yeah. How many seasons for Blacklist?
8. It's going on 8.
8.
So, yeah, man.
That is impressive. Yeah. I didn't
expect the show to last. I kind of dropped off halfway through season 2. And then just recently, with as much time I have in my hands now, I just started like trying to like rewatch some shows, and I got into it again. And this time around, even more so. So it's pretty good.
Plus, new seasons have been.
She looks familiar, but she's blonde in Ms. Mabel, right?
Yeah.
What's that?
No, she's a brunette. She probably changes her hair every once in a while, but
yeah, her hair's way darker on the Blacklist, so I didn't recognize the face.
Okay. But yeah, you know, for Captain Marvel, funny enough, we're talking about Abigail Brand so much because I think, you know, unfortunately Skinny's not here, but we're excited for Sword. The potential I'm a little concerned. Like now that they've announced about this. Well, yeah, they announced the Nick Fury series, which Skinny was just like, this is going to be Sword. And we were like, okay. And now it makes sense if Abigail Brand shows up. The only thing I'm concerned about is if you start to introduce some of these characters with star power in these roles, you're not going to get them on the TV show unless they're planning to put that much money into the Marvel Studio television series, which would be great, but it's not what I expected. Because are you going to get someone like Kate Winslet or Keira Knightley to agree to 3 appearances or 4 appearances on the show? Are you going to get someone like Jude Law to an appearance on the show? Can you get Brie Larson to come in?
With the emergence of like TV, like The Mandalorian and stuff like that, we kind of are though. So
I'm hoping. I'm hoping.
Sorry,
I'm hoping you're right. Sorry, Dave.
Yeah.
No, I was saying it's a possibility.
Yeah, I could see it. Again, I don't care for Kate Winslet, and at this point, you guys don't care for Keira Knightley. So someone else, Ms. Maisel, would be perfect for this. But
do it. Marvel, listen to us. You have in the past. We know you're listening right now.
Kamala Khan is going to be in this.
Yeah, we knew that. We knew she was going to show up, because they were saying They're saying her show that brings up valid point.
I didn't know where she was going to show up actually.
Oh, okay. Well, I know that, and that's the thing that I'm finding interesting now, because if her series Miss Marvel is going to be on Disney Plus, then Nick Fury is going to have a series on Disney Plus, and then this movie Secret Invasion. Yeah, you're going to have a lot of crossover. That's interesting. Okay, I didn't think about that at the time when I saw these, but now that I'm seeing it play out, that's a lot of crossover, and I'm excited for it. I'm concerned. There's still some concerns.
You know what Disney's doing right now? They're creating their own version of the Arrowverse, but better.
Oh shit!
All these shows are gonna.
How dare you even try and compare the two?
That's the thing. They're going to separate themselves from the herd. These guys have been doing it way longer than Marvel has, and Marvel is going to come in and just utterly destroy them in this aspect. I could see it already. Yeah, all these shows. There's no way there's no intertwining with Wanda being possibly the villain in Doctor Strange, which I guess we can move on to that.
Yeah. Let's jump into that one.
Yeah, Captain Marvel wasn't always. I don't have much to say on her because I didn't really read a lot of Captain Marvel.
I like Captain Marvel.
Great. I thought the movie was good.
Yeah.
So anyway,
but yeah, no.
Doctor Strange is the multiverse.
Wanda being
yeah, sorry. Yeah.
No, go ahead. You were touching on it. Apologies.
Yeah. Wanda being the villain, is she controlled by Mephisto?
Well, that's the rumor. Multiverse of Madness. She's being controlled by Mephisto, that's supposedly who Evan Peters is going to be playing. Anne Hathaway and Yahya Abdul Mateen II are the top choices for Clea and Voodoo.
You know what I don't like about that description?
What?
Is that it reminds me too much of Legion. I feel like this show is going to be Legion.
Yeah.
It's all taking place in the mind for the most part, right?
Multiverse.
It's a whole. I don't know.
There's a lot of mind games. I don't know if Wanda, because I could see what you're saying with Wanda and the mind, the whole insanity playing out in her mind, and Mephisto being an
master.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that's not what they do. I'm secretly hoping that they're planning to make it that it wasn't Mephisto. Mephisto is just a construct of her anger, and they save Mephisto for something else. Because I like Mephisto as a character, and I think him coming in to try and get to Strange or to try and get to Earth through her seems kind of boring. Because I like Wanda, and I don't just want Wanda to be a puppet. She's super powerful. She's an interesting character, and to make her the villain in the next movie potentially, Oh yeah, I posted that. Shout outs to our boy Devin. You guys can check out his stuff, shanksevents.ca. But yeah, Eternals. Dan Stevens is playing Crow. Harry Styles and David Strathairn are playing Eros and Zuras.
Harry Styles is everywhere lately, huh?
Harry Styles is working at becoming a movie star. I didn't think that's what he wanted.
Some big movies that I didn't expect him to be in.
Yeah. I honestly didn't know that this is what he wanted to do. I never thought, but that's it, right? Pop singers supposedly always comedians always want to be rock stars. Rock stars always want to be comedians. Actors always want to be movie stars. And some movie stars, Eddie Murphy wanted to be a singer. We got that song produced by Rick James because Eddie Murphy was a very successful comedian / actor, and all of a sudden decides he wants to party all the time and continue
all the time.
To this day.
He killed it. Eddie Murphy was wonderful. Honestly, it wasn't as bad as people make fun of.
No,
I never. But it was a joke, though, right? It was like a running joke.
Oh, okay, yeah. Like the idea that the comedian is doing, similar. But you know what? I'll put it to you like this: it's similar to how I thought Childish Gambino was making everything a joke when he started.
That's so true. That's actually the equivalent, to be honest.
Yeah, I would say, because it's just like, oh, you actually do like making music and potentially are interested in having a music career, and I should and he did. He wanted to do that. So.
David Star Fox being in it, actually. Did you
say what?
Have it, what's it called? Eros and Zuras, because they become Star Fox, right?
Oh, is that what they do?
Yeah.
I didn't remember that part. I just know that I like David Strathairn, the actor. I've liked him ever since he did that show Alphas, which was like the poor man's Marvel X. Have you guys ever watched Alphas?
I gotta see the name.
Alphas,
Sorry, the
Alphas
face.
was a Canadian produced, an American science sci-fi channel show produced in Canada that was essentially,
I remember this guy.
yeah, essentially just X-Men story. And David Strathairn played a version of Charles Xavier, and I loved him. I thought he was great on that show, and and right now the last thing I saw him on was Amazon's what's that show?
Isn't he a little old for this role then? Because they're
For
supposed to be
Zuras?
brothers, right?
Zuras is an older dude. Well, remember, these guys are Eternals, so the Eternals appear whatever age, but they've been around for, like, he might look old, but he could be who knows how many years old. That's the other. But yeah. Question: how do you guys feel about Shang-Chi? Because I'm seeing a lot of negative comments online from people, and I'm like, this movie's not even being made yet, and everyone's hating on it. And I'm like, why are people so mad?
You know why? First of all, the name.
Shang-Chi?
The name needs to go.
Hit the character name?
Yeah, no, not the character's name. The title, like it Shang-Chi, and that title needs to go. And should be called something else. Should be called like Marvel Legend of the Ten Rings and something featuring Shang-Chi. Yeah, I don't know. There's nothing. It feels like.
It feels forced. Shang-Chi is a forced movie.
I don't know where he fits in this universe.
You want to know why? Because he doesn't. Because all due respect to the character, for people who like it, he just doesn't. When has he ever been in anything that mattered?
True, and we're gonna have a villain called Fu Manchu in this day and age.
Are they also gonna bring Fing Fang Foom? Like,
there's a lot wrong with this. Did you reach?
Are they still? I thought they weren't gonna do Fu Manchu.
Oh, they're erasing this villain from the history of Shang-Chi.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. All I know is,
am I delayed? I feel like
no one asked for no. You know what this is? This is Han Solo.
You are delayed.
Me?
Okay.
No,
I'll try.
Brian.
I'll try and fix it.
Oh, all right.
You didn't notice? Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead, Dave.
No. But I'm saying this is. Oh, what was the point I just said? This is Han Solo. No one asked for this movie. No one wanted this movie. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those movies where it's like, all due respect again to the like, don't get me wrong. I think you should be. It's nice that they wanted to bring a different culture involved in the Marvel U, and I'm completely down with that. But like, Sunfire would have been more interesting than this. And if anything, Sunfire could have been an intro to mutants.
I wonder,
like, you know what I mean?
I wonder how he's going to appear, because Wong apparently from Doctor Strange is in this, right? So Wong, is he going to come over from that side of things and look for someone to help in this battle against the next coming villain? You know what I mean? So it might stray away, because in my head, when you say Shang-Chi, I'm thinking like martial arts movie, right? You're not really thinking Marvel movie. You're thinking like martial arts movie. So it has to make sense organically in some way to mesh in with the universe. But as it stands,
it's Marvel's
that I'm getting doesn't seem like it fits.
Yeah, because he's essentially, if I'm not mistaken, both in look and in how he's written, isn't he essentially Bruce Lee?
They'll have to change quite a few things considerably. He is 100%.
You know, so it's like, you're not gonna, like, I don't know. I really don't see it. I really don't see it. But I mean, they're going for it. I mean, but they've proven us wrong with many. I thought Guardians of the Galaxy was going to be the stupidest thing alive, and I was proven very wrong, right? So
yeah, I didn't know what to expect with that either, because it could go like horribly wrong. But by that time, Marvel has already proven so much that we gave them a chance. You know what I mean? We were willing to go see what they were going to put out, and it paid off.
And speaking of the Guardians, they're apparently going to make an appearance in Love and Thunder, which in this rumor is saying that Christian Bale is going to play Gore. Mm-hmm. Goldblum's going to be back. Dinklage are coming back. Ryan Gosling is going to do Beta Ray Bill. I find that a stretch. I don't understand why Ryan. Well, mind you, it'd be an easy paycheck for him, I guess.
Voiceover. It's going to be a 3D CGI character anyway.
Yeah, so it does take out all the work for him technically. So
Crazy,
And then
what do you think about Christian Bale playing Gore? Do you even is Gore even like? I don't know.
that's the thing. It's like I don't even like. He doesn't sound like he's the right character. I don't.
There's a lot of prosthetics involved too, right? So it's not like his face will be showing here.
I don't think so because like he essentially looks like he's not a zombie, but he's like very. I don't know how to describe it. It's as if a zombie and a skeleton had a baby. That's how he looks.
Put it that way. He's definitely a scrawny alien, slimy looking kind of character. Which I don't know why Christian Bale, based on where has taken his career, would want to play this role. So I don't. This is one that I'm questioning myself.
Yeah, but then again, it could also be, he's had great movies, but I don't think he's had box office knockouts. Meaning, like, yeah, he did good movies, but maybe he wants like a big fat paycheck. I don't know.
If he's starving, I don't blame him. If he needs the money, then for sure. But I just don't know if. Yeah.
Personally, I feel like Christian Bale should never do another superhero movie because his last foray into superhero was so good. Your legacy is set. You never have to touch another superhero movie, and you will forever have possibly one of the best superhero franchises ever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I still argue to people whether or not Dark Knight is potentially the best comic book movie ever.
Interesting.
I would highly debate and rank that high up there too. I think. It would be like Hugh Jackman coming back and playing Gore. Because they're both so unique and known for these two characters, like Wolverine and Batman. Yeah. Coming back as a character like Gore, just to me, doesn't make sense. Like, it doesn't.
I don't get it.
Economically speaking, even. I'm sure there are better roles they'd rather put Christian Bale's face on than actually mask him up in all this CGI.
But then again, the only sell to me to Christian Bale is if by chance he so happens to be a Marvel lover and he so chance likes this character. Because one thing that he does like is he likes challenging roles, and and not just ones that are challenging, but also physically challenging. So you can see if he can do it. That would be the only sell on this, and that's like a fucking reach and a half.
But the thing is, are you talking about physically? Because he's not going to be in a costume. This is probably going to be another character that either is going to be prosthetic or CGI. Much like who's the one that the Taika did in the last Thor movie? The Rock dude.
Yeah.
I forget right now, but I know exactly.
Well, I mean, but if that's the case, then it's a cash grab for him, I would assume.
Which is weird.
Because he has Batman money.
Exactly. And for it to be this movie, I don't.
Yeah.
Motherfucker's got Batman money. Like, he's gonna have Batman money for years.
I hope so. Meanwhile, we Christian Bale got so meta in playing like Batman that he just blew all his money because he started spending like Bruce Wayne, and then realized afterwards he's just like, "Oh, I'm not actually that rich." Whoops.
You know what?
He's also having gang fights in the middle of the night with black get up.
I just realized it's true. You're probably right. If this is not a sort of physically demanding role, he might take this. If it's just like a voiceover like Beta Ray Bill would be, I think he's okay doing voice acting at that point because you're not actually using his likeness. It's just a random character he's voicing. So I could see that. I actually, for some reason, was thinking the opposite in terms of like character acting.
Beta Ray Bill coming in makes me so happy because Beta Ray Bill is one of my favorite characters. Because I like his story that he was just like this down on his luck dude on his planet and then gets Stormbreaker and becomes the Thor of those people. And it's like just such an honorable character. He's so honor bound. He's always about doing the right thing for the right reasons. I don't think I've ever seen him in the comic book be questionably like, like they have that scale of like, what is it called? Where they have the 9 cubes and it's just like, chaotic good, chaotic evil, stuff like that. He's just like a lawfully good man. Like,
regardless of the situation, he's almost always going to pick the right way.
Yeah, he's like so pure of heart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, at least that's how I read the character. So Ryan Gosling voicing him.
Is a Beta Ray Bill movie in here somewhere?
What? Sorry.
Do you think there's a Beta Ray Bill movie in here somewhere? Like this is Thor's
hell no.
out?
Hell no.
No.
Sorry. I love the character. Yeah, I love the character, but you could never do movies just about this horse face looking man running around.
He is not good to look at.
No,
Yeah,
You know who he looks like? He looks like Kubert. You ever see? With the long note, like the snout and the hair. Yeah, exactly. He looks exactly like Kubert.
I do like that they've already hinted at him in the last movie, though, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. So,
and then the last one, I guess, to talk about is Ant-Man.
which is the stuff that we kind of already expected.
Yeah.
And, like, that one's not. I saw that and I was a little disappointed that that's all they gleamed from it. I was just like, oh, the same thing we've all heard. Jonathan Majors from Lovecraft is going to be Kang. Cool. Emma Furman is coming back as Cassie. We already knew that. Luis and Janet are going to be in the film. We already knew that. The fact that you had to list Janet is returning was just disrespectful.
I mean, it's Ant-Man, though. That movie didn't really have, like, this Ant-Man 2 had a more higher caliber cast and totality.
That's true.
But overall, from the first one to this one, I don't think it's one of the bigger sort of budgeted Marvel movies, right?
Yeah. I mean,
they're using that Richards is going to be in this one, though, which is the
In a
only
supporting role. I could see that. So if Kang's
but still, like, it's an intro, right?
my only problem with that, though, is if you're going to bring Reed Richards, it sucks that you're doing Scott and not Hank. I want Hank and Reed together. I want the two brainiacs who are almost on the same level. Like the fact that Reed Richards understands Pym particles better than the creator of Pym particles. I want to see that argument. Like,
oh, they'll have that argument still.
Are we though? Because it's going to be an old man at that point. I'm not as interested in watching old man Hank argue with whoever. Like, is Reed, unless they're going to get an actor who looks young but is going to be done up to be old like Reed Richards. Like, you know, Reed Richards has always had the gray, but he's like, for some reason, 35 with that gray streak for 50 years.
That's why I could see that fitting in with John Krasinski. He's like, to me, as soon as the name was mentioned, I was like, that is the guy.
I know people want him. I know.
If they don't get him for this, they're missing out. I guarantee it.
The world is telling them, like, it's one of those situations where he should just be like, when they call, he's like, I've been expecting your call.
It's true though. I don't see anyone else doing this.
That is good. Crazy. I've been expecting your call.
Or like Lurch on Addams Family when he goes, "You rang."
Yeah.
When he opens the door. Oh, man. That's great.
Yeah, man. And I mean, by association, everyone wants his wife to play. They want her, Emily Blunt, to play the Invisible Woman. Which,
I can see it.
Yeah, which is fine. She could definitely do it.
And they have incredible chemistry acting together.
Yeah, and she's gone blonde before. She can lip the role. And then, I mean, this essentially turns into a create the cast, because then who's your Johnny? That's the thing. It always comes down to who's your Johnny.
Welcome to Who's Your Johnny?
Because
sounds like a game show. Man, who would
first up on the docket, we have Zac Efron. That's someone that people have been throwing around a lot. People have been throwing around Zac Efron as Johnny Storm to her Stu. Yeah, I know. I gotta say, the fan.
To those people.
I gotta say, the fan casting of John Krasinski with Emily Blunt as Sue Storm and Zac Efron as Johnny Storm with I don't know who as the Thing, pretty solid.
You know who would work?
Who?
His brother's already in the MCU. I forget his name. Thor's brother in real life.
Oh,
Liam Hemsworth?
Yeah, Liam Hemsworth. Interesting.
Kind of looks a little bit too much like John Krasinski. I find.
No. They don't look anything alike. He would fit in with that aesthetic.
Yeah. He just has to get the tone.
He's arguably a better actor than Zac Efron. I'm not gonna lie.
But I mean, okay. Quick question: how good of an actor do you have to be a horn dog pervert who lights himself on fire and does things like "flame on" and like pumps out your chest? I mean, that's pretty easy.
What did you think of Chris Evans playing him? If that's the case,
He played it okay.
Kind in his career in regards to maturity. Like
he played it okay because he was kind of like a dorky frat boy.
Yeah.
He was a little frat boyish. He was a little
very frat boyish. I don't think he was dorky.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm in the sense that you're right. He's not. He wasn't. He's frat boyish. I guess in my head, because I'm picturing him doing so much science because he's surrounded by Reed. I was just like, oh, he's dorky. But you're right. At the end of the day, he didn't actually understand any of the fucking science. And in both cases, both the versions of Johnny that we've had with Michael B. Jordan and Chris Evans, they made Michael B. Jordan's Johnny much smarter. He actually understood. Like,
yeah, but he made him not. He didn't make him immature at all, though.
Yeah, no, he was immature in the sense that he liked to race cars and was reckless. Okay, right. He's not immature. He was reckless. Yeah. That's what we can say. And that recklessness carries over into working with Miles Taylor's Reed Richards because they were both reckless with a lot of the stuff that they did. God, why are we talking about this movie? We're not talking
about it.
I know, I'm sorry. Ignore me. I feel, as soon as I started talking about it, I was like, I don't even want to talk about this. Like, that's how bad. I genuinely.
Who's your Johnny? Dylan O'Brien is not a bad one either.
Ooh,
he's pretty good.
Yeah,
Maze Runner guy.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
Maze Runner. What else was he in? No, American Assassin. That.
Oh yeah, I never saw that.
Oh, it's pretty good. I'd watch it.
Okay. I gotta check that out.
It's on Netflix, actually.
Oh yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
Or some. You know what? At this point, one of the things that I've been doing is if it's not on Netflix Canada, I've been potentially finding ways to access Netflix in different parts of the world. And I got to tell you, the Japanese, those guys don't play. Those guys get almost every major movie is just on Netflix. Netflix is the place to go for their major movies.
Word?
Yeah, Wonder Woman was on there.
Interesting.
And Wonder Woman was on there like almost immediately. Like once it got released on Blu-ray or DVD or whatever, I was able to watch it on Netflix through access to a Japanese account and location tag.
I'm gonna get my sources online too.
Yeah. There's ways, folks. Some of them cheaper than others. Yeah. We went through the whole list, guys. You know, that took us an hour. It was supposed to be 30 minutes.
It was 30 now.
That's great.
No, it was fun. I enjoy when we talk about stuff like that because at the end of the day, I find like that, you know, it's fun to talk about the other stuff that we watched, but that stuff's interesting, especially since the shows that we watch. I don't know about you. I feel like Dave's going to do most of the talking because my show is just a thumbs down. I don't.
Yeah. I've been catching up on shows.
No, I want to hear it. I want to hear it because you started off last week with Utopia. I want to hear it with this week with the American Utopia. I'm so down.
You want to?
So, did you watch the whole season?
Well, hold on. Before we get to that, I just want to remind people, you know, That's Canon. You're essentially watching the That's Canon crew right now. We work on that show. And we have more episodes coming out soon. So just a quick promo.
This is ridiculous.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just said what I said. My tone and delivery may have been a little bit different, but it's because I want to emphasize the importance.
Okay.
And I was laughing.
That was Doc.
No, it's not.
Great argument.
Oh, God.
Dave, I'll give you a 5-second countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, so if you guys haven't had,
I want to hear it.
You gotta go. You gotta go right now. Go to franklinarmstrong.com. Click on That's Canon. All the episodes are there. We covered some amazing comic books in the past. We have some amazing comic books we're going to be covering in the future. We're going to be doing some really fun stuff. So make sure you check out That's Canon podcast. You can look us up anywhere that you can listen to, wherever you listen to your podcast. We are there. Continuing with View the Right Thing. This is our segment where we talk about TV shows that we have been checking out. And I'll tell you right now, I wasted my time. Wasted it. Yeah. Utopia, the American Utopia is what it feels like a child who watched the British one would have explained to an adult, and then that adult tried to make a show?
So
name then. Stark differences between the shows. Any stark differences?
Jesus, dude! If I start doing that, we'll never leave.
Your top 5 stark differences.
Well, I'll give it to you this way.
Three.
Instead of it being a government thing that they're trying to do, they're making it a private corporation. One of the reasons that to me seems interesting, yet unfortunate, is it's kind of boring that America always sees private and corporate approaches as bigger than government. Like, we get it. Capitalism has made it that businesses are bigger than governments. It would have been interesting to see them transition the story over and still make it about the government trying to be the government has been infiltrated. Yes, governments being infiltrated has been done before. Sometimes I guess you might not find it that interesting, but a corporation trying to take over the world or kill off the world, it's literally been done to death. Yep. So when I'm watching it and it's like the story of, a major corporation is trying to cut the population by killing people with a virus, it's just like, yes, cool, we've done this. Yep. John Cusack is not that interesting as the lead villain, and the decisions they make are kind of like, I get the whole idea of like, there's nothing more dangerous than a villain who thinks what he's doing is right, and he genuinely thinks. Yeah, John Cusack's character.
Isn't that every villain?
Yeah, but I mean, there's some villains who know what they're doing is evil. John Cusack's character thinks what he's doing is for the greater good and thinks that it's actually right. He doesn't actively see it as like, I'm not doing something wrong. I'm doing something for the betterment of mankind.
Oh, right. It's kind of like a Thanos situation.
Yes.
Along those lines. Okay, yeah.
Except, it's an insult to Thanos to put John Cusack and him in the same boat. And that's unfortunately what they did. They did. Oh my God, Toby, you just accidentally hit the nail so hard it went flush into the wall. That is he is literally, and I don't feel any guilt spoiling this. He's trying to kill off half the world's population. Like, he's trying to do population control. That's so what he's doing.
I don't even know this show, and I just threw that out there.
Yeah. And he is a Thanos, and it's like, and he goes about it in such a convoluted, stupid way. There's nothing interesting about the way he's doing it. Whereas the British one really put it all together, and there was like elements and like, what the most interesting part of it was?
Probably in less episodes too.
Sorry?
I said probably in less episodes too. The British are usually
they did it in 6, and the Americans have like 8 or 10, and I'm like, why do you have 4 more episodes of just crap?
For the propaganda, Brian. For the placement.
It drives me nuts. So I'll yeah. This is my last point. When I watched one episode of the British one, it felt like one episode was watching a movie. When I watched one episode of the American one, it felt like one episode was watching a sitcom. If you understand that as a TV fan, you get the disrespect I just dished out to the American version of Utopia.
That's deep. That makes Utopia sound more like purgatory. They need to change the That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oof. I can tell you right off the bat, with the fact you're saying not only is John Cusack in it, but he's the villain.
Yeah.
It's already like, because like, don't get me wrong, I think John Cusack has a great contribution to the film histories and whatnot. But like the last few years, there's a reason why he's not in big things. He's not
he's broke, right? You guys know the story. Like, the man is out of money. He got tax issues. He essentially went the Nicolas Cage route, and then but he decided to start doing conventions. So he started doing the con circuit, but didn't want to do the con circuit. So he would go to conventions and not take off his sunglasses in the photo ops. And people would complain like, hey, is he going to take his sunglasses off and his hat? Like, he would literally do the Captain America undercover thing of a cap with shades. Like, pops on his shades and is taking photo ops like this. Like, just head down, shades and a cap.
This is someone that I remember at a time was very outwardly spoken about how horrible Hollywood is. Like at one point, he called Hollywood a whorehouse.
Interesting.
So it's not surprising to me to see him sort of shadow blackball.
Yeah.
You know, there were at the time some very powerful people. And you know, those people are getting more and more exposed as the time goes on, but those people had a lot of power to keep you out of a lot of projects, right? Their reach was far, they had a far reach. So hopefully that's not why, but again, get your house in order. If this is how you got to do it, I guess this is how you got to do it.
Yeah. But, I mean, also just pick better projects, man. No offense to I'm sure the thing that sucks is the actors are doing an amazing job. I should explain. The writing is not good. The story development is not good, but the actors are putting all of their effort in. Rainn Wilson is great. Rainn Wilson kills it. Cusack is hamming it up a bit, but that's fine. Homeboy that played Riddler on Gotham is great. He's playing a similarly crazy. You know who he reminds me of? Bale in American Psycho. He's kind of this like really like he's the son of John Cusack's character. He's business forward, but he's also secretly helping his dad plan this mass murder and is just cool and calm about it. And at one point just damn right disrespects this woman who's like telling them like, don't you think we've killed enough people at this segment of the plan? Like what you're talking about would just be like, we have a plan in place and I understand the loss of life in those situations, but I don't think we should just start killing people in these other situations. And he like walks over to her and sits calmly and he's just like, are we done? And it's just like, Jesus, man, you're giving an order to murder a whole bunch of people and you're not even thinking about it twice. And she's just trying to have the conversation and you're trying to paint her as an emotional woman. Like he does stuff like that, like gaslighting and all that nasty, toxic masculinity stuff that they constantly talk about, but he does it in a very calm, like American Psycho way. And it's and that's the thing, he's doing a good job with it. But the show
itself is dialogue and the pace of the show and the motivations behind things you're saying is just not attractive enough for you to keep watching.
No, yeah. Okay,
so that makes sense. I hate when that happens. It's a waste of a cast in that case.
Yeah, I'm gonna finish the season, but thumbs down. If you guys want to check it out for yourselves, again, watch the British one, if anything, I would say. So yeah.
Cool. I don't have very many updates. I was just keeping up with The Boys, which we'll talk about next week, so I won't say anything.
Next week.
And Raised by Wolves.
I finished it.
I finished it too.
Yeah.
But it's hard to put into words. I'm going to talk about it again. It's a great show. I love all the new things. Everything seems new. I've never really seen a lot of these storylines before. Though they're touching on subjects we know, they're kind of approaching it in a different manner, which I like. But what I don't get, and I guess is baffling, annoying me, is I kind of like to know where we're headed.
Yeah.
and then when we get where we're headed, it should kind of close a chapter on that and move on to something else. But they keep adding legs to this monster. And it's just growing legs, but it's not telling you exactly where it's going. It gets to a destination, but it's not the destination. It's a false destination. You open that door, you still got to keep going on your journey. I don't want to spoil it, but I think people watching it, when they go watch it, they'll understand what I'm saying. Even at the end of the season, I was like, how did we get here? I'm like, what is this thing? How did it become what? Just the whole time, the last 30 minutes, I was like, what in the world? I love this show, and I want to say I get it, but it seems so plainly in my face that I'm not sure if I do get it. Like, it's literally, actually, it tells you, it's crazy. You see everything. Yeah, it plays out, but they don't hide anything. But the things that are happening make no sense together. They make no sense together, and because of how aesthetically pleasing and incredibly written and how incredible the actors are and everything, I feel stupid because I'm like, am I missing the connections? It's such a crazy thing going on with this show.
It's funny that you say that because it reminds me of Devs. The idea of like, I watch an entire season of a show and at the end I'm just like, so we're in heaven? What?
It's exactly Devs. It's exactly that.
So like you watch, Raised by Wolves is entertaining and interesting, But yeah, man, when you get to that final episode and that final scene, and you're like, what? like a legit what? I don't understand what just happened. Yeah,
Paige
man.
and I we were like halfway through, we were like looking at each other literally every 2 minutes because I couldn't believe. I'm like, how? But why is that? Okay, but what's the point? But wait, where did it go? What? It's just like question after question after question. They're answering it though as they're going, but it just doesn't connect to anything.
And there's like scenes that happen where I guess there's foreshadowing, but in a way that you wouldn't think is foreshadowing. So like when I'll say this one thing, when the prisoner gets powerful, and I say that without spoiling anything, because there's a prisoner who gets powerful. That doesn't explain much. But when the prisoner gets powerful, I didn't understand that at all. I was like, what? Why? Huh? And then like
the way it happened.
Yeah.
She woke up and her blood has gone back the other way.
Yeah.
Again, anyone listening right now, it's not going to make sense to you. We're only discussing this because I think we need to share our grief.
Yeah.
I appreciate the show. I recommend it 100,000%. It's a great show. It's just very, very, very complex. Yeah. And it's in your face. The answers, the puzzles are there. The pieces are there right in front of you, but there's no guide on how to connect them.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that at some point in the next season, it makes sense because we know where they're headed or supposed to go in terms of a destination on the planet they're on. We can say this though, Saul, who's the god that they pray to on this show, the religious characters on the show anyway. I'm starting to think Saul, this is my theory, this is not a spoiler, obviously.
Yeah.
It's like some kind of I started to believe that Saul is what is like a brain disease, like an amoeba that took over humans on planet Earth and caused the destruction of the planet. So everyone that left the planet thought they were rid of it, but someone infected was still on the ship, and now it's like Saul's bouncing from people to people, and it's like sharing. It's like a hive mind, right? Because Saul takes over different people at the same time who think they're his emissary. Because that makes like everyone thinks they're a soldier of Saul.
That is a dope theory. That is a dope theory.
It's honestly, my theory is so far out there because the show's so far out there.
Yeah. Yeah, we're talking about the show Raised by Wolves, which is on HBO. If you are in Canada, you can watch it on Crave. To anyone who's just tuned in and may have missed us discussing it, very good show, like Toby said. But at the end of the day, it's very confusing. But that is a great theory, man. That's really cool. I like that idea.
It makes sense from all the bouncing around to different people hearing Saul. I don't know. I'm just throwing things out there.
No, that's great. I didn't try and figure out the equation. I just watched it.
You're like, fuck it.
Yeah, dude. Well, like I said, I sat there at the end and saw the thing happen and this flies into the sky, and I'm like,
what? How are they supposed to beat this?
Yeah, that's it. You know, like I was just like, oh, something's flying. Okay.
Oh my god, it's a good show. Though. I love it.
Yeah,
it's fantastic. Anyway, there are 10 episodes out. All 10 are out. So
yeah. So we're gonna toss it over to our boy Dave here, who's watched what I wish I'd had a chance. I really wanted to watch it. I don't usually watch South Park anymore. I'm kind of over it, but people have said this was a really good special. So Dave, hit us, man. How did you like the South Park pandemic special?
All right, so I got a lot of hype about it too, and maybe my expectations were really high.
Yeah.
But I didn't personally feel like there was anything special about the special. However, I will say this. I haven't watched South Park in a while. So when I was watching, I'm like, I feel that some of the jokes in this episode are, you have to know what's kind of going on a little bit with the townsfolk. Like, example, one of the main things about it is Randy, Stan's dad, is selling weed, which eventually turns to him trying to sell, which is hilarious. He thinks so. It is funny, but I guess it also to me is like it was a great South Park episode, right? But like for South Park, it was just the regular South Park standard. When people were describing it to me, they made it sound like it was better than the norm, I guess. Because basically what happens in this one is that obviously it's taking place in the pandemic. They took a lot of shots to people. Like, example, Who's the guy with the puppet hand all the time?
Listen, I'm gonna tell you right
I've
now.
watched the show. Yeah.
South Park, I am not
Anyway,
a South
you have one
Park
character that's supposed
head. So
all right. So what I'll say is this:
10 years, man. So
what happens is obviously the pandemic happens. When someone in the school gets it, all the students have to stay at the school because now that the cops don't have any jobs apparently in the town, they're now the replacement teachers for the teachers who don't want to be in the school because they're scared to catch COVID, which then turns the school into a prison. That was funny. It was a funny build up to it, but I was like, okay.
School's a prison?
it turns the school into prison.
Because they eventually turn.
Sorry, I was gonna say it's probably an analogy for society in terms of how we're living.
Yeah, like there's
right
a lot of
prison.
there's a lot like they touch on the elections. They blatantly touch on all the police corruption. Like every time there's a black person on the show like that comes out, they blatantly kill them. There's one time where they blatantly kill a student, and they're like, "Oh, it's COVID's fault." Like,
Oh my
they
God.
really dug deep at the police brutality.
I'm surprised South Park has been around for as long as it has. Like it's been, and it still is popular. Pretty much, it's a huge accomplishment. But
Yeah,
I
like they
got the appeal of it. I think
same here. Like that.
biggest episode, sorry, they're very like in tune with things culturally, and I think the biggest episode that came back to me after not really watching it since I was in high school was the whole Kanye situation with South Park, if you remember that era.
Same here, but
Yeah.
with what you said, I don't think you would have liked this episode at all.
Okay, well there.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like that's that's what there's some things about it that were like very classic South Park. Like example, like Randy Stan's dad thinks that because he fucked a bat that he's the reason why COVID was created. And then when it's proven that it's not a bat, it's some other animal, then he has another flashback about how after he actually had sex with that bat, he then had sex with this animal.
Okay.
And then they're like, oh, they think that what's deep inside the animal is like the cure for COVID. So he tries to, since he's selling weed, right? He jerks off onto his weed and test subjects his brother-in-law who's in the hospital, and he forces him to smoke his joint with his cum on it. Like it's
oh my
like,
God.
Like Mike just said, it's the social commentary aspect of it that makes this episode probably attract more viewers because everyone is looking through a mirror by watching the episode. Okay.
So like, there's like example. I'm saying it. I'm laughing. I'm not saying the episode wasn't funny. It's just that they haven't come out with something in a really long time, and the only thing I ever heard from anyone was like, "Oh, it's great, it's great, it's great." So it's like I'm pretty sure it was just maybe overhyped to me before I watched it.
Yeah, that'll.
But like it was funny. It definitely had a bunch of good moments, like the ones I was describing. Cartman absolutely loves being in isolation, which was fucking hilarious. But like I don't know, like when I was watching, I was like, yeah, this is a good episode, but I didn't see how everyone was jumping up for joy about it.
Yeah, because everyone has a lot of time to get that riled up about an episode of South Park these days. So I could see that being newsworthy, especially since, like I said just before, it's putting a mirror up to society. Like, this is what you guys look like, you know. So
hardcore.
That's probably it.
I gotta say, the fact that these guys have had 20 years of doing this.
That's what I'm saying.
That is impressive.
I mean, they in my first year of high school, they were here. So
over 20 years. Jesus.
It's pretty insane.
That's
but
impressive.
They've done a good job of just being in tune with every that generation, but every single iteration of that generation and keeping up with the times in that manner. Which speaks a lot to their longevity.
The Simpsons could use a page from their book. I'm not saying the Simpsons have to be exactly like South Park, but the fact that I feel when I watch the Simpsons, they haven't evolved with the time. I don't feel like they're doing social commentary in the way
not as much. They like throw it in sparingly here and there in the episode, a quick reference, but nothing crazy.
Meanwhile, you have Family Guy that's not even trying to. They're just being outright insane. Like Family Guy isn't trying to do. They touch on social commentary, and they are the first to do things like call out Weinstein. Like, you know,
That's true.
Yeah, because he was. Didn't they have a joke like 5 years before Weinstein got arrested about because the conversations were being had in Hollywood, but no one was doing anything. So
I remember vaguely an episode or two of Family Guy touching on Weinstein. Oh, for lack of a better phrase, touching on Weinstein. I said,
I want to make that the episode title, but I don't.
Touching on Weinstein.
I really don't. I like the idea of doing it seems funny, but
I'm gonna write it down. If we really or not. It's up to you.
I won't. I won't. But yeah, good God. You know what? I would say,
yo, this is the funniest shit before you show them something. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, you know what? Shout outs to Mike. That's facts. A lot of the times, and I feel like I have a lot of friends who say that. I think, and you know what? Skinny is one of the biggest people for that when it comes to Stranger Things. To this day, Skinny hasn't watched Stranger Things, and he says he's not going to watch it because everyone tells him you have to watch it. It's one of the best things you'll ever see. And he's just like, and he said it will never be as good as people have made it out to be. It's not possible.
It's true in a lot of cases, but I almost feel like he's watched it in secret and just can't admit it right now. I don't know.
We'll have to make like a special like Stranger Things reference that like only a person who's watched the show will be like, oh yeah, and we'll be like, gotcha.
I like it.
I watched the first episode, and it was because of the hype that I never watched another episode after.
Of what?
Because I was like, of Stranger Things, I watched the first episode and I was like,
oh, really?
You've never watched the rest of Stranger Things?
That's an interesting concept, of the hype potentially destroying potential viewers or something.
Yeah,
I was even with friends who were like practically like watching me to see my reactions. They were so happy that I was watching, and by the end, I was like,
I wonder why that is. Like, what happened?
And dude, that's a thing that carries, right? Because there's a whole generation of kids who probably, I'll say, Seinfeld probably isn't the funniest sitcom, but there was so much hype around Seinfeld that I feel like there's a generation of kids who grew up listening to their parents or older siblings talk about it, and then they watch it and were just like, this was your best. This is the best sitcom you've ever watched in your life. Meanwhile, they watch Curb and they're just like, Curb's my shit. So
yeah, I wonder. That's interesting because it's essentially the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
It is essentially the same thing. Curb is exactly Seinfeld humor, which is interesting.
But it's also when it comes to humor
and hate Seinfeld.
But when it comes to humor, though, I always find that when you get through a different generation, old TV shows are usually not funny because
the references
either times have changed, so the jokes are dated, or times have changed, so you could say or do more shit. So you're like, okay, yeah, like who cares about a poop joke? Is this person doing something about pussies or dicks or whatever? Like, you know,
the Seinfeld is an interesting point you bring up in terms of like cult, like references and stuff like that. It's a show that still holds up to this day in a lot of ways, but there are things like Steinbrenner, like the owner of the New York Met, that whole thing with George that might not really like. Okay, he's a bad boss, but no one really gets the importance of the New York Yankees and stuff like that at the time. So there's a whole 100%. But in terms of characters, the characters are very, very, very well fleshed out, and I think they still hold up to this day. The storylines and some of the plot lines may not.
The archetypes that they created, like the star, the best friend, the ex-girlfriend, the neighbor, the way they structured that. Like when John Mulaney did his show and tried to recreate the structure and it just didn't work. It was so unfortunate because Mulaney's such a good comedian, and to watch his show fall apart where Nassim was the Elaine and I think he has a roommate. So I don't think it's a neighbor, but he has a roommate. And then Martin Short plays the insane boss. Like Mulaney's show was fun, but ultimately just couldn't hold.
What was Mulaney's show? What was it called?
Well, I think it was just called Mulaney. Yeah, it was just like a sick. Yeah, and it's a similar thing. it's a similar thing where Mulaney is a comedian, and he gets a job working for Martin Short's character, who's like this famous comedian, and he's writing jokes for him. And Nassim Pedra plays, I think, just his friend. I don't think they've ever dated, but the roommate's always trying to like hook up with her. So the elements are still there of like lead guy, best friend, female lead, and random crazy person who Martin Short did. So,
Wowzers. Yeah, this show is not highly regarded at all.
No, yeah, what's the rating?
4/10 on IMDb and barely 17% of run.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
Yeah, she left SNL to do this. And and I remember, and I think one of the jokes is Mulaney apologized to her for her leaving Saturday Night Live to come with him to do this show, and then the show flopping because then she's not going back to SNL. So it's just like,
and then she had to do those horrible go on that what's this Charlie Sheen show, where he was the psychiatrist. Remember that?
Oh, that's not her. That's another actress. Funny enough, I know who you're talking about.
What? That's not Nassim Pedrad.
No,
Get out of
no,
here.
that's another actress.
Oh,
yeah.
no. Who's married to the hockey player?
Not Nassim Pedra. She's not married to a hockey player. I know who you're talking about. The one you're talking about is married to a hockey player, did a reality show, and was on Charlie Sheen's show where she plays a sex addict who's trying to get over it. And I don't remember her name right now. She's also been in National Lampoon movies. She plays like the sex bomb in a lot of movies.
Oh my god!
But I know
Noreen Wolf.
Yes, that's her name. Noreen. What's her last name?
Dude,
Wolf.
I am such an idiot. Noreen DeWolf. This whole time I've been conflating these two. Wow.
I mean, they are very similar looking, and if you didn't see them at the same time and someone told you one was on a show, you'd be like, "Oh, that's plausible." Like you could easily mistake them. So I get it.
Dude, they look the same.
Yes, they're very similar. They're very similar looking actors. Yeah,
that's crazy. Yeah. I'm actually genuinely shocked right now that for like almost 3 years now, I knew they were not the same person, but they just blended into one over time, and now that's crazy. Wow.
Okay. I kind of want to name the episode Noreen DeWolf and put a picture of Nassim Pedra as the picture for the episode.
There you go. That's another one.
I should do that.
Wow.
But yeah. She left SNL to jump on Mulaney's show, and then ended up on New Girls playing Winston's girlfriend. Then did and then they became friends because they just did a movie on Netflix where she plays a crazy person, and it's been good. She has a pretty solid career, so good. Kudos to her.
Oh my god, that's crazy. This whole time wow.
That's so funny.
Nassim was the one in Aladdin, right? Not the wolf.
What, as the friend?
She was Jasmine's friend.
Yeah, Nassim is the friend.
Nassim Pedrad,
not the wolf.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, she replaced Raj. The tiger.
I sound genuinely shocked. It's just because I can't believe I made that mistake. You know what I mean?
That's so good. Guys, we're gonna get to geek news and rumors. Oh, playing the wrong thing. Geek news and rumors.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's because my player is showing that it's playing something right now, and I know it's not playing it. So I was just like, oh, I guess I have to press stop because I didn't want it to play. Ultimately, that was useless information, especially the people who are listening to this and not watching it. The podcast listeners, I'm sorry for that long-winded, pointless conversation. We got about 10 minutes left, and we're gonna deep dive into these. Actually, we're not even gonna deep dive. Some of these don't need a deep dive. We already talked about one. Jamie Foxx is returning as Electro. It's been confirmed.
And hopefully he looks better and has a better storyline.
You better have a better.
If you guys want to see this, if you're watching it, I might make this the background to the episode, but I made a image with using the I'm going to post it up right now for if you're watching. But this image that I made where he's in the middle, that's the suit that people have been like begging for, where it's like him as Electro in a green suit with yellow lightning
that's
on
wicked.
it.
That's wicked.
I know that's not an official mock-up. That's just someone did a really cool mock-up, but a lot of people have been asking for a suit like that for the longest time. I'll try and post it on social media or something just so that people can see it because we talked about it. And then what else do we have?
They got to make it look different from Black Lightning in some way. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Ooh, that's a really good point because you're right. If it's just green with the yellow lightning, it'll look like a green version. Sorry, yes, Dave. Almost all the movies are being pushed back. Hollywood's fucked. That's it, guys. Hollywood and the movie business, it's a mess. We're telling you guys now. They can't figure out how to do it all. Right before we started doing this broadcast, Jurassic Park Dominion got shut down while they were filming because of 2 positive COVID tests. The movie is pushed back to 2022 now. You have the Batman, Dune, Matrix 4, Shazam, all have been pushed back. We mentioned Black Widow was already
2 or 3 years down the line now.
Yeah. Everything's being put, and like they're pushing. Say what?
And some are getting canceled.
Yes,
Close got canceled because of COVID. You got Teenage Bound. I got canceled because of COVID.
I just told people to watch that last week. Don't bother watching it anymore if it's canceled.
It's true. Now that it's
my good opinion.
No, but you know what? He's right. Now that it's canceled, it's just like, why am I going to invest the time in a show that you guys aren't even going to let, like, at least top off or cap off at the end? Same thing with Glow. Glow got fucked over. They had a 4th season that they had planned, and now they're not even going to get to come back. I don't understand the idea of not doing these shows and canceling them. Why can't you just delay the show for another seat? Like, I don't see why Netflix's immediate reaction is to cancel things. And what I was trying to say before,
their infrastructure works or their pay schedule, like how that whole thing works, because there could be some contractual things that play into the reasons as well. But anyway, you
have to cancel. Can't you just put the show off? Like, because you know what? A lot of the actors would probably be like, yeah, we'd be down to come back in a year to finish this off.
But so that's the thing. A lot of these actors, though, they're busy. They actually have things going on. Like, what's her name? Just was in a movie. She was pretty much starring in the movie.
Alison Brie?
No, the supporting actress in Glow.
Oh, the one that did the Hunted, the movie where she's being hunted?
Exactly. So, like, she was also starting to sort of break out and get roles outside of Glow. And I think they all have something in their schedule over the next year or 2 or 3. So the studio trying to figure out scheduling and plan these things, it probably just didn't work out.
You think that's why? Man.
More than likely. I don't think they can just put something on hold, on standby like that.
Yeah, that's fair. I just think it really sucks because I feel like these actors, even if they have a lot of commitments, would be the type of, like, it's a type of show where it seems like such a family that they would want to at least give it a proper ending.
I think Betty Gilpin is her name. So yeah, there you go.
Okay, yeah.
It's a shame that a show that has such good regard gets taken out like this. That's all.
Yeah. Real quick though, one of the things that when I was talking about for the movies all being pushed back is the theaters are going to get really messed up over this. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but Cineworld, who owned Regal in the States, has decided to close like some 500 theaters in the States and to close a whole bunch of theaters in the UK. Don't quote me on that. I didn't put it on the list because, we were going to be talking about so much stuff. So I was just like, it's okay, we can address it. But since we are talking about the movie business, I think it is important to recognize what this actually means. Canceling or pushing these movies back means less theaters overall because the theaters aren't able to make money. There's no other tentpole coming. Like, we've seen it. Everything got pushed back. And it's funny. I'll say this about Nolan. Nolan wanted so bad to save the theaters, but inadvertently hurt them by releasing a movie and not making the money that people expected it to make. So everyone got scared and backed out.
That's the problem, right? They thought that if there was any movie or anyone that could bring people in outside of Marvel, it would be this. Yeah. And it sucks because I wanted it to be too, but obviously, given the circumstances, it was a pipe dream. I think.
And it sucks because I really do think he didn't mean to, but I honestly think he hurt the movie industry inadvertently just a little bit, not intentionally. Obviously, I'm not trying to blame Nolan. This isn't like Harmon, because if Harmon did it, we know he'd be doing it on purpose. Fuck Harmon.
Yeah,
No,
but it's one of those, like, if you could make it here, you could make it anywhere. If Tenet couldn't make it, no one could make it, you know?
Yeah, perfect. That's exactly the point. So, real quick, this one's pretty cool, and shout out to Kwanzaa. This is crazy. Yeah, man. Warner Brothers is making an adaptation of Black, his comic book series and universe that he built. If you guys haven't had the chance, once again, I played that promo for That's Canon. Go check out That's Canon on franklinarmstrong.com. We did a free comic book day special edition where we covered Black, and it was dope. It's a fun comic. We had a lot of things to say. I think the comments that we made were fair. We didn't necessarily say that we didn't like it, but we made comments that reflected the fact that anyone who's trying to world build with superpowers and like government oversight or government control is going to be touching on mutants and the X-verse just a little bit. But you know what?
We offered our unwanted opinions. That's all.
Yeah. So go tune into the episode. Go check it out. That's Canon, available on franklinarmstrong.com and wherever you listen to podcasts.
Speaking of which, okay, there was an interview with him.
Okay.
Was I there for this, or did you interview him?
Well, we interviewed David about
Harriet Tubman.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't remember. Have we interviewed Kwanzaa?
I have a feeling we did. We did something on Kwanzaa.
Oh well, I have to double check.
Maybe I might have written an op-ed at the time, maybe too, something. So I know we did something like 5 years ago
when
or something.
Black came out. Yeah.
Okay. He's always been a part of Franklin Armstrong.
Yeah. We've been following his career for years. Like, we were really excited when Black came out. We were excited to review it, and I've spoken to him a few times. I've spoken to him enough that I think we could maybe. I mean, I don't know now, because now he's going to be big time, so it might be hard. But and not because I'm not trying to say he's big time, as in he won't want to speak to us. But he's just going to be so busy. Yeah, exactly. I mean,
I'm not saying that. We haven't done it in weeks. We are not saying that name on this podcast. Sorry,
I already said it.
Oh, did you? Oh, you did?
I said it. Yeah, that's why. That was
in what context? What did you say?
I said Nolan. We can't blame Nolan, but we could blame Harmon. And then I said, "Fuck you, Harmon."
No, we don't.
I missed it.
There. It's fine.
Okay.
It's funny. You know what? I won't go into
Harmon references are back.
Blacklisted somehow.
What do you mean? He doesn't have any power. His girlfriend's series on Quibi, which is one of the better things, is not even doing well because Quibi's dying. So what is he gonna do? Harmon, what are you gonna do?
It's all dying.
Come at me, bro. Oh man, I feel bad using this transition, but speaking of things passing, was that bad? Is there a better way? Because there was no way.
It's dark. We'll accept it.
I say this. I don't say this with any like comedic or satirical intention implied. It is very serious that there were losses this week, but it was just this was the only way we could transition. And as you know, we usually laugh when we feel awkward or sad, and these two deaths are awkward and sad for a lot of people.
All three, because Dan Harmon, right? Oh, sorry. Who's there?
Oh my God.
This is the joking thing. We gotta stop doing this.
I mean, it's pretty dark and depressing. So Eddie Van Halen has passed at the age of 65. He battled with throat cancer for a long period of time, and we send our condolences to his family. This was a big loss for a lot of people in the rock world or music fans around the world, period. Eddie meant a lot to people. The band meant a lot to people. So, we say that we laugh because we're trying to find... Say what?
Yeah. How old did you say he was?
He was 65.
60? Is it 65? Someone wrote 65.
He was 65. No, it was he was like pretty hype. Like, I was actually reading just to bring it a bit to a Canadian feel. I was reading a comment from Rain Maida from Our Lady Peace, and apparently Our Lady Peace in the 1995 circuit toured with them, and one of the members apparently questioned Rain's ability to be a frontman and was about to kick them off the tour. And Eddie with Alex, because they're the two, like Eddie and Alex Van Halen are like the two people who never left the band. That's why their name, the band was named after, I guess, their family. But they're the ones that like went to bat for them and kept them on for the rest. So it's like, it's wild. And if you ever want to see something cool, just type in best Eddie Van Halen like riffs. Like his hands were magic on a guitar. It's wild.
Well, I mean, I think one of the coolest things is one of my buddies told me a story just the other day about how supposedly he was working on Thriller, and Michael told him, do what you want. And they left the room, and Eddie went in and like chopped the song up differently and then did his part. And then Michael came back in and Michael listened to it, and Eddie was just like, oh God. And then Michael turned around and was just like, hey man, I really appreciate you taking the time to make my song better. And it's just like, holy
Thriller. I'm pretty sure it was Beat It. No,
it's Beat It.
I'm pretty sure it was Beat It.
Beat It.
There's a guitar break like.
But you guys check, because my buddy was.
Yeah, you're right.
It is Beat It.
Yeah, I'm sure it's Beat It.
Because I watched a video yesterday and I saw him and Michael on a stage together where he's just doing, because he has this weird ability to like just play on the neck of the guitar with both hands.
Yeah.
And like when he's done, Michael's like, woo! But the verse that the sound that
the sound I just made. I really hit those notes for you.
I was like, that's good.
Oh man, that's actually one of my favorite parts of Beat It, to be honest. When that guitar comes in and it's just going, oh, you really feel the music, you know?
So Michael listened to the song and then was just like, oh, hey, you made my song better. And it's just like, can you imagine working with probably the most popular musician in the world at the time, and they walk in after you've played around with their song and they're just like, you made this better. That must felt amazing.
That must be incredible, yeah. And honestly, I don't even hear it without that guitar riff or that break at all. It's crazy.
So it was Beat It. Real quick, also another person has passed. Thomas Jefferson Bird, who is probably best known. Yeah, he's probably best known for his multiple Spike Lee joints. He is a frequent collaborator with Spike Lee. It's done movies with Antoine Fuqua, and he's been in a whole bunch of other films and has a very great career. Unfortunately, not only just passed, he was unfortunately murdered at the age of 70 in Atlanta. So we send our condolences. I don't have any. I have not seen any updates as to how, who, what, when, where, why.
It was that night.
It's the same thing as what's his name from Honey I Shrunk the Kid getting randomly attacked by someone on the street.
Yeah.
Rick Moranis.
Got attacked.
Yeah, he got assaulted by someone. But yeah, man. Yeah, these random acts of violence are sad, and I don't even know what to say. Losing Thomas Jefferson Bird just it seemed like such a weird. When I saw the post, I was just like, oh, what? And like I read it as he died, and then read like more details, and it's like was like shot in the back, and I was like, what? Like
that's crazy.
It doesn't even compute when I you're like reading something and you're like, I don't even understand like who or why or where, like doesn't add up.
What's
so
the motivation? What's the dude's 70, 75, something like that. You said
70. Yeah.
So doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's really sad. And it's an unfortunate way to end the show this week that we end it with people passing. But we did have a fun show, and then I was trying to figure out where we would talk about these things, and I thought to put it at the top, but I was just like, you know what? We're going to have so much fun throughout the whole show. We can end off by paying respect to these people. So to the families, the Van Halen family, to all the rock fans, to the Jefferson Bird family, and to all the movie fans who've experienced their art and their presentation as they brought it to the world, and to us as fans, We pay our condolences. We pay our respects. We thank you guys, and we thank you guys for tuning into the show this week once again. That's pretty much the ending, guys. That's the whole show. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and little hint of what's going on. Make sure I'm not even going to say it. I'm not even going to say it. To the podcast listeners, make sure you start watching these. We're going to be on YouTube soon. We want you guys to watch it on YouTube with us. To catch us live. We're having fun. We're doing some cool stuff. So, if you guys have the time, 6:30 Wednesdays, every Wednesday, we're going to be on YouTube. Follow us. We're going to be posting this. Check it out. And then make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page. We got a bit.ly, a shortened link. So it's bit.ly/capital A, capital M, capital Y, OUTUBE. So that's subscribe to our bit.ly/fam YouTube.
Subscribe
That's it, guys.
and watch, appreciate it.
Share.
It helps us all. Share. Bring your mom, your sister, your dad, your cousins. Bring everybody. We want them all here.
Bring them to the fans.
Happy wife.
Bring the kids too. They like comics.
Facts. We're out, guys. Peace, everybody.
Peace.